Welcome to Spectrum Perspectives, real talk with parents, professionals, and autism advocates. With your host, Cindy Gellermini.
Hi, everyone. This is Cindy with another episode of Spectrum Perspectives. And today I have Betsy Hicks-Russ on the show. Hi, Betsy.
Hi.
You're
So
Betsy on
good
the
to be here.
go. I love
I
that.
am so on the go.
That makes it so easy for me to remember. Betsy on the go. All right, let's go.
That was like a precursor to my life that I didn't even realize I was setting the intention of. I came up with that so many over decades ago, and I didn't realize what I was creating for myself. And it just kind of unfolded in that
Right?
way.
Yeah, you didn't know you were speaking out there into your life, right?
Exactly.
All right, I start every interview the same. Let's back all the way up. First of all, how many kids do you have?
Three. And
Okay.
a stepson as well, but I have three kids that are
You have three
mine.
biological kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to talk about Joey?
Yes,
Yes?
Joey.
Okay. And where is he in the birth order?
First twins. Well, one of two. So I
Oh,
had
he's a
twins.
twin.
He's a twin. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So quite a few people have twins, and I have twins also
Yeah. Oh, I
that
didn't
I've
know that.
interviewed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have twin girls, and then I had Robbie, and then I had a fourth one.
Okay.
That's the
Got it.
youngest.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So the twins were first though.
Yes.
Okay.
Boy, girl.
Okay.
Boy,
Okay.
girl. Yeah.
Okay. And the only reason that's interesting to me is because sometimes first time moms don't understand what's going on. But
No.
he had a twin to compare his development to,
But
right?
she also had a lot of delays too. I mean, she's on the spectrum as well, but
Okay.
was further ahead and
Okay.
speaks
Okay.
and
All right. So
apraxia.
so back up. So when you were pregnant and the delivery and all that, did that all go normally? Do we have any?
Everything was great. Yeah, it was
Okay.
wonderful. It
Okay.
was he was a sweet, sweet baby and just
Did you go full term?
I went to 38 weeks.
Okay.
They actually induced me at 38 weeks because I was so ridiculously large
Yeah.
that they decided they better take him out a couple weeks early, which, I
Yeah.
wouldn't agree with anymore, but
Yeah.
whatever, they did. And yeah, I mean they were good size.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was great.
Me too. They had me come a little bit early too. Um, how much did they weigh?
Well, Mia was bigger. Mia was closer to 7, and he was more in the 6 range.
Okay. All right. And then so their development, it was a little bit delayed or
No, I mean, not at first. They were very, very basic, very,
are
I
they
mean, I was a
called?
new mom, yeah,
Right.
everything. I mean, Joey's gross motor is extremely advanced and always has been very advanced.
Hmm.
He's like he loved to balance himself. He was very much advanced in that respect. And Mia, not so much. Mia was always very, very awkward. So Joey was actually more advanced when it came to any of the crawling or the walking or any of the gross motor stuff. Mia had more language early on. Joey didn't develop it as much. He said a couple things, and yeah. And then around 2 is when they were diagnosed, was when Joey was diagnosed. And that's about the time when I started, he wasn't sleeping well. Everything just kind of was kind of going downhill at that point. Mia was definitely developing at a much faster rate verbally at that point. It's what's really interesting is with Joey and Mia is Joey's apraxia really presents itself more in fine motor and speech, whereas Mia's was all gross motor. She just had no ability to have gross motor skills. So the apraxia was hitting them in different ways.
Right. Well, autism presents differently in boys and girls,
Yeah.
right? So a
It's
lot of
that,
times
yeah,
girls can talk, boys won't talk, and
right,
um,
right.
and girls have, yeah, it's very different
Mhm.
issues. Um, yeah, it's interesting. So she has apraxia.
She does, and she still does, and she still struggles with it a lot. She actually has a tremendously difficult time with eye contact, but she's incredible speech, and she had a lisp a little bit when she was little, but she is an incredible human being, and like Joey, but in a different way. And she has her master's from UPenn. So she's very, very smart and um, presents herself. And she's married. She's been married, oh my gosh, a long time, like about to be close to 10 years now. So she's just an incredible individual. She lives in Portland and she's a case manager. So she works in the autism field right now.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, and then how about Joey?
So Joey, it just kept going downhill from two on. He
So
was,
let me ask you this first.
yeah,
Did he have any words and did he lose the words? Like
yeah. He
what
had a
happened with
few
his speech?
words and he had purposeful play, and then all of that started to regress. He had a lot of really great skills that all regressed. He the biggest thing for him was the sleep and the constant screaming. And the screaming just never really stopped. It was just this constant onset of screaming that kept going. It wasn't until he was about 3 when I discovered, and I say I loosely, I was guided by some great people that diet might make a big difference. And when I changed Joey's diet, it was night and day. It was a huge, huge difference. And I feel very blessed that I had these people nudging me at a young age because quite honestly, it is way easier to change a diet of a 3-year-old than it is to change it of a 13-year-old. So I'm just really appreciative for that. And that ended up being my thing. So I started very early because I was doing the diet and I was doing it well and I was trying to help others to do special diets. And as I was doing that, I started working for Dr. Mercola for a while, and I just helped talk to parents for to help them guide them on their journey of food, and that's what kind of started me on my autism journey professionally. Like I wrote a little book, I started doing lectures. And I did that a lot until Joey was about 7 years old. And I met Dr. John Hicks, a pediatrician originally from Kentucky, had his practice in the Chicagoland area. And he was there at a same conference that I was, kind of looking for answers, like, why is he seeing so much autism these days? And so we met there, and I told him that I was doing a lot with diet, and he was excited, and he asked me to work with some of his clients, which I did. And then I, we fell in love and got married. The end. No, it's just like I don't know where to go with the story other than
Okay, all right. First of all, let's back up. When
okay.
he was 2 years old, he was screaming all the time. What do you think that was from?
Nope, not going there. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, like, but you said it's the change in his diet was help. So do you think it was because, was he screaming because his stomach hurt, because his head hurt, or was
Yeah,
it stim,
everything,
or what?
everything. I think the nervous system was shot down. I think yes, I do think his stomach hurt. I think all of our kids have gut issues. They're all dealing with gut issues, whether it's addressed or not, because a lot of them, including I mean, in so many different ways, be it acid reflux, be it constipation, be it gut mobilization, like dysbiosis, which is the biggest one. All of these things.
Which is what? Explain for people that don't know.
Dysbiosis is a microbiome issue. So when you have your gut at any particular time, you have good bacteria, good yeast, bad yeast, good viruses, bad viruses. There's pathogens. They're all supposed to be there. We're a living organism. Animals have them, we have them. They're all just happily, synergistically living together. The good and the bad, the ugly, the important. But they keep each other in check and they keep each other balanced. What happens, we'll give an example. I'm not saying that this is a cause of autism. I'm just talking about antibiotics. For example, if you take an antibiotic, it clears out the bad bacteria, but it also clears the good bacteria. And
Right.
then your body has a really hard time bouncing back and jumping back in to a homeostasis, a base point
That's why
for
they
your
tell you to
gut.
take probiotics if you're taking an antibiotic.
Right, which I mean is somewhat good, but transient. I mean, oral probiotics are transient. They go through the body really fast. I mean, you really taking a probiotic through a food source is always a little bit better. I don't mean a food source supplement. I mean, we get probiotics from certain foods that we could ingest or just in our environment. Playing with the dirt, we get exposed to probiotics. Like let your kids play with dirt. Like these are all things that are part of the probiotic journey. And so what happens though is they get exposed to maybe some parasites, they have maybe some viruses, they have a viral overload from whatever the reason might be for the viral overload. They might actually I mean, they might have a bacteria that's in there that's kind of going rampant, but when it gets out of balance, that's what dysbiosis is. And when that's out of balance, it affects everything because everything we eat and our supplements and our nutrition and even our medication, everything has to go from the gut to the brain. And if that gut brain connection is absolutely vital. So if there's any impediment in the gut, it's going to affect the brain. And that's why we have a whole host of issues. Then you look at things like anxiety and panic attacks, and all of that stems from serotonin regulation, and serotonin is made in the gut. So if you're dysbiotic in your gut, you're not going to properly make enough serotonin to be able to control your mood stabilizer. There's so many different reasons. Methylation is a big part of it. Are you a methylator? Can you methylate well? That's all part of important facts that are keeping the health from exceeding. And we can't ignore, I mean, a lot of people want to say, oh, there is no gut-brain connection. Like that doesn't really exist. You can eat whatever you want, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, but then my response to that is, did you have a cup of coffee this morning? Did that caffeine affect your brain? Why did that caffeine affect your brain? Because it went in your stomach. So if you can accept that the caffeine is going to affect your brain, you're going to be sharper, you're going to be thinking better, then why can't you accept that if we put in things that are not good, it's not going to affect the brain? So we have to constantly pay attention to the whole body. There is not one thing. There is not just one thing that is messing it up, that is making it better. There is no magic bullet. There is no magic way of getting there. It's a combination of several things. And when you put them all together, it's a perfect storm of problems. And that's where Joey was. And that's why I'm such an advocate of diet to this day.
All right. So he was around 3 when you started this.
He was about 3, right? I had no idea what I was doing. Let me tell you, I was giving my kids Velveeta and Ritz crackers and goldfish and the gummies and all the things that Rice Krispie treats, all the things that moms are told, if you're a good mom, that's what you do. You make Rice Krispie treats. And I just was doing what everybody else was doing and what it seemed like the right thing to do. I mean, I just didn't understand it to the extreme that I do now. And, when you tell somebody about gut health or eating healthy, it's a relative term. When I met my current partner, Ron, he thought he was healthy because every day at dinner time, he had a little salad. And compared to his childhood when he never ate a vegetable, he was being a healthy, responsible adult by having that little side salad at the end of his dinner. And I, let me tell you, that wasn't enough to fix the tragedy that was in his gut because that was not he needed a lot of help and coaching for that. So we look at it relatively. We grade ourselves on a curve of what our neighbors are doing, what the other moms are doing, what the kids at the school are doing. And we eventually just say, it's just not one thing I can handle. I can't. And then it kind of like toss our hands up in the air and say, this isn't something that I'm capable of changing when I unequivocally believe that everybody has the ability to make changes in the diet. And there's impediments, there's all kinds of reasons that it would make it very difficult, but there's steps that can be taken. And that's kind of my biggest voice when it comes to treatments at this point.
Well, the standard diet is chicken nuggets and French fries.
Mhm.
I have to tell you, there's a McDonald's not far from my house, and the line after school of the cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, do all these mothers just take their kids to McDonald's after school every day? Like, I don't.
Well, and I don't even have a problem with per se a chicken nugget or fry. The problem, like there are very healthy chicken nuggets and fries that can be made. The problem is the mass production of industrialized food is unrecognizable to the body. The body is simply like, what the heck is that? Everything that goes in your body, you either utilize it and take in the strength from it, or it's a poison and you have to detoxify it. And we do that all day, every day, over and over and over again. And then we can honestly say, oh, food has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, what if you just drank alcohol all day and, started your day with like all Red Bulls and then had alcohol all day and like didn't really eat? Like we can accept that that would affect our system, but yet unrecognizable food, if you even want to call it food, is being accepted, and knowing very strongly that we are one of the only countries that says, oh, it's okay. And people say, yeah, but I saw a study and it's okay. Who did the study? Every single time people say, oh, I saw a study and seed oils are not that bad. Okay, who funded that study? That's always what you want to go back to. Of course they want to tell you that they're not that bad. But if you actually watch, like go to YouTube and watch a video of how they make canola oil. Like that is like the scariest thing ever. Like it's just like this unrecognizable to the body, really, really high heated um, stuff that goes into everything. That's in your chicken nuggets, that's in your McDonald's French fries, that goes into everything. And so we gain weight or we pad it in wrong because our body doesn't know what to do with it. So it stores it and it creates inflammation in our gut, and that creates headaches, or that creates stomach aches, and that creates joint aches and all these other issues. And then we just kind of perpetuate the cycle with taking medication to get rid of the headache, and then that makes that worse. And our Western medicine protocol is not helping the precious sweet nervous system of our autistic children. And we until we start like looking at it as it's something we do have control of, because I actually love the fact that food is something I can control. Like that is something to me, like there are certain things I can't afford to do certain therapies for my son, but I can figure it out of what it looks like to be able to give him a good diet. And that's the one thing I do feel like I have control over.
Mhm. My son had he had digestive issues, and as he
Yeah.
got older, he just he was having diarrhea all the time, and then he started vomiting to the point where he was throwing up every half hour till nothing was left but green stomach bile coming out.
Mm.
And I would call the pediatrician and they say, oh, he has a stomach virus. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, you don't get a stomach virus every 6 weeks. Something's not right. This is like food
Mhm.
poisoning of what's
Mhm.
happening here.
Mhm.
So I took him to a GI doctor and they couldn't find anything, you
No,
know.
because they don't, it's not that they can't find what they're able to test for, because
Right.
they're so limited in what they can actually test for and what they're looking for, that they don't. I mean, I've done the whole GI piece and I just sat there with my mouth closed because I knew what they were capable of, and what they
Right.
were capable of was not going to help my son.
So, and this is why I like to do these interviews, because I took my son to all different specialists and I
Right,
tried to find answers, and no doctors ever had any answers for me. They could
right.
not explain to me, well, he has neuropathy. What is causing this? What's causing the seizures? What's causing the gut issues? What's causing, and nobody had any answers for me.
No,
I don't get any answers until I do interviews with moms,
yeah,
with moms who
absolutely.
did all the research and moms that found answers.
Well,
So,
I worked in the clinic for so my Dr. John Hicks was my husband, pediatrician, trained at trained from he was in the Navy. He was a medical doctor in the Navy and moved from that onto pediatrics, and he was phenomenal. He was respected and loved and everything, and started realizing that everything for treatments, because I mean, he'd be in his 70s now if he were still alive. But what he was noticing is that the insurance companies were limiting it for him, that he couldn't really spend any time talking and figuring things out with clients, his patients. And when he would listen to his patients, he would hear a lot of the same stories. And he was just so enamored by that and interested that he eventually opened his own practice to where you where he wasn't I mean, he could accept insurance, but he was also willing to have a longer conversation where people it would be out of pocket because of the fact that people wanted to talk to a doctor who could help them figure things out. And that's our medical model has been made that figuring out is not an option. You have to fit yourself into a box. And if you don't fit into those boxes, then there's nothing they're going to do. And diet is a box they don't like because they, aside from the fact that there's no drug to be able to sell to you, it's also a lot of work, and you're going to potentially ask questions, and they don't have the manpower to answer the questions. So, yeah, it's really kind of fascinating. But it's also really empowering to kind of step away from that and start researching and figuring it out. But watching for 16 years as we ran our practice and hearing the stories over and over and over and over again, and realizing what really made people better. And it had to do with, you know, detox and getting crap out of the body and uh, uh, not putting more crap into the body. Like all
right.
of those
Putting more
things
drugs in
were
is not the answer. That's
right,
why I love,
right.
the biomedical world because they try to get to the root cause of
Yeah.
what's making you sick in the first place instead of just giving you more
Truly. And
medication.
there's scamming in that too. I mean, there's good and bad and ugly of both sides. And I've because I worked enough in the industry to know that there's a lot of guesswork. There's a lot of guesswork. There's so much guesswork when it comes to and hunches,
Yeah.
because certain things are really hard to test for. And so it's tough. Oh, it's I get it as a parent. You know, you're
So
trying
let's
so
talk about
hard.
the scamming a little
Yeah.
bit because I see a lot on Instagram and stuff. People are always talking about these detox stuff, like take these drops, take this, spray, all these kind of things. And, should parents be doing something like that? Should they be talking to a doctor first before they do it?
It's a
Or
great
is some of it a
question.
scam? Can we talk about?
Well, it's a great question. It's a fair question, and I don't know if my answer is going to be as solid in the sense that it depends because some of it is a scam, some of it is really good. I can't imagine not supporting my own detox system. I have all kinds of autoimmune issues that have been alleviated by supplements. So there's some supplements in my world that I can't imagine not having. There's supplements that have helped Joey that I mean we take every day. One
And
of our
have you
very
figured that out on your own, what supplements to take, or have somebody help
no,
you with
I
that?
mean it started with John and his guidance with that, and then after he left, I have my own holistic practitioner that I work with that I really love that kind of guides me a little bit. But the one thing I do know, and I kind of walked into my current holistic practitioner's office with there is one supplement that Joey and I both do really well with. And if we stop it for any period of time, we feel miserable. And it's so simple. It's artichoke extract. Artichoke extract is artichokes and this is mostly the leaves of the artichoke, so it's not just eating artichokes. But the leaf of the artichoke is incredible for thinning bile so that you naturally detox. The one thing to always keep in mind anytime you're dealing with any sort of a supplement is that the body wants to be better. it is not trying to fight you. It wants to be better. It just needs the tools to get better.
Right.
So that's why I'm always my if somebody says to me, if there's just one thing I'm willing to do, it's support the detox, dandelion root, the things like that. Those are all really, really good because if the body at least can rid itself of the poisons, then it's naturally going to get into a better place. So, so yeah, so supporting detox, I would say I'm sorry, I probably got off track. Where were
Well,
we?
you mentioned going to a
Question.
holistic person that for
Oh
your
yeah,
vitamins, so maybe that's a
yeah.
good idea for
I mean,
detox is
it
to see
is,
somebody
and
like that.
but then I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. It's often a hunch. It's
Yeah.
often just a hunch. Like this client who was before you did really well on this, so maybe you'll do well on that too. And yes,
Okay.
there's testing and there's all this stuff, but there's a lot of questionable testing. I mean, there's so many variables. And
Yeah.
as somebody, I actually started one of the first online supplement stores when the internet first became big. And I mean, I know supplements and I love supplements and I take them all the day, but there's a lot of crap in the supplement world too. And it's really hard. A perfect example is this, okay? B12, for example. B12 is often in a very cheap form, like say Flintstone vitamins,
Mhm.
one a day, some of these spectrum vitamin, not, I can't even remember what a lot of them are called, but some of these cheaper vitamins. There, if you look at the B12, it says cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin, okay? Cyanocobalamin is not going to help methylation. It you need, for example, methylcobalamin and there's some other ones out there too. But cyanocobalamin, and if I go to a supplement and I look at their B12 and I see it has cyanocobalamin, the first thing I do is I don't trust this company. I'm not using this company. So that's the first thing. And most of the gummies that are out there, like all these gummy vitamins and things like that, they're using cyanocobalamin. And then, the whole folate makes a difference too. A lot of people cannot convert it. So they need help getting it to folinic acid. So understanding that part of it. This is hard stuff. What I
Right, which
recommend,
that's the other one. Okay, you mentioned the
yeah,
folinic acid,
right,
that's leucovorin. Okay, so
right,
there's all these
right,
parents out there that they think it's the miracle cure now, and they want to put their kids on
right,
leucovorin. But I, I, I don't feel that it's safe to just ask you, hey, how much leucovorin do you take? Okay, I'll just
right,
take that too, right off the
right,
shelf, without having somebody
100%.
guide you.
Yeah. I mean,
But
okay.
and pediatricians will not prescribe it because they don't know enough about it and they don't know what the dosage
It's
should be and all that kind of
it's
stuff. It's a whole
it's
thing right now.
oh yeah. Okay. So here's the thing with that. And I'm not going to get too controversial with this at all, but what
No,
I will say,
I just want
yeah,
to help people
no, I
not
get
make
it.
mistakes.
I get it. But what I will say about that is that you don't need leucovorin. Like, I mean, I don't mean you don't. Okay. Here's, let me back up. Leucovorin can be wonderful for someone who cannot financially be able to buy a good supplement. Okay. And that's the reason I'm happy about it is that it could potentially help with the methylation piece if that was not something that was in your wheelhouse of being able to afford in a supplement version. But a supplement version might be just as good, if not even better. And more of the issue, it could be even better if you get it from your food. Like, let's go back even further
Okay.
because of the fact that, like, look up. It's not hard to do right now.
But it's
Go to
not folic acid,
ChatGPT.
but folic acid and folinic acid are two different things.
But the thing is if you get the two of them in a food form, you are way more likely to be
Which
able
is
to take on
what?
the
What's
benefit.
the foods that we can
Or
find them in?
beef, red meat, beans, green leafy vegetables, all of those things, all very, very high
Okay,
in
good. Well,
B's.
that's not so easy with autistic kids to get them to eat any
Well,
green
that's
leafy
part of what I'm
vegetables.
talking about. That's how I started this whole thing was the
Yep.
fact that this is has to become a priority because it is, it gets into we can't and no one else is doing it and that only the weird people do diet and all those other pieces, but it's also in the long run one of the most affordable ways of helping support your child because if you can get to the point where green leafy vegetables have been introduced into your child's diet and you can make that happen every single day, like you will notice a difference because they are naturally getting B12 and the whole spectrum. See, this is the thing with medication versus like herbs, for example. So with the medication, they are just attenuate. They're just taking out these tiny little portions that are the active ingredient that's able to make a change. But plants were not meant to be attenuated. They weren't meant to be spliced and gene manipulated and all of that. And they absorb and work much more beneficially in their whole form. So one thing that I'll tell people, okay, so they're not going to eat a bowl of kale, but what if they're having a bowl of rice, you chop up a bunch of parsley or cilantro or some other herb and put that into the rice. All kinds of minerals in there, there's some B vitamins, all these other types of benefits, and start making that a normal part of eating the bowl of rice or whatever it might be. And or if you're making your own chicken nuggets, throwing in a bunch of, grated or chopped up herbs into that. Herbs are one of the most beneficial ways. They are antibacterial, they're antiviral, they're actually sometimes antifungal. They help support the mineral content. And minerals are important because as we push bad things out of our gut, we leave holes, we leave it porous, and the minerals come in and sweep over and they seal them up, which so that you don't have to deal with the leaky gut part. So all of these things really come down to the food of it. And I think,
Should they
yeah,
be fresh or they be
fresh.
like,
No,
yeah.
fresh herbs,
Hmm.
fresh herbs. And I mean, this is why supplements are great if that's not going to be a part of your reality, but it's also way more affordable and way more nutritious all the way around by having the actual ingredient rather than just taking a supplement version of it.
Right.
But there's also supplements that I'm never going to eat enough of a particular food to give me all that I need of that. So there's certain things that I'll take as well too. I'm not discounting the supplement end of it, but I'm just saying that whether when it comes to methylation, it's like there's other ways to support that. You can take a supplement that will also support methylation and have it more complete rather than just that tiny, tiny little piece, because it is a whole cycle. It's not just one thing. People in general look for that magic bullet in everything that they do. They want that one thing to make it all better. And it wasn't caused by one thing. It's not going to be healed by one thing. It's a combination of so much in our environment. And and kind of the dismay of where medicine has gone. So we can't be I mean, we should compare notes, but we can't be doing just what somebody else is doing because all of our bodies and all of our kids' bodies are very, very unique.
Hmm. Yeah, they are. Right. And just because it works for one person doesn't mean,
Hmm.
um,
Right.
yeah. All right. Let's go back to your son. He's 3 years old. I guess he regressed with his speech, right? So does he have any words now or no? Is he
Yes,
considered
he has a,
non-speaking
oh
or
yeah,
unreliable?
100% non-speaking. Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So then where did he go to school? Did he go to public school or did he go to like a
He went
special
to
ed class? Was it ABA?
public, yeah, yeah. He had ABA. At first, they didn't even accept him in ABA because he wouldn't sit still long enough to attend to anything. And then they eventually took him in, but he had everything. I mean, he had the pecs. He had like when Proliquo first came out, we were like one of the first people to get it. Like he had the devices. He had all kinds of little things. He did go to a special ed classroom. He had, no ability to learn anything of substance. All of that. So
And
yeah.
I assume they did not presume competence.
Oh, no, 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 no. That was definitely not
That's like a
happening.
joke,
Yeah,
really.
I know, right? Right. It was not happening for them. It wasn't happening for me. I wasn't presuming competence either at all.
Right.
And nobody in his life really was.
Right. All right. I mean, because they don't respond and
Right,
they act like little children,
right.
so you treat them like babies, you know?
Mhm.
Um, then okay, but I know he's a speller now. So,
Yes, he
but
sure
first,
is.
hold on. You mentioned your husband, the one that was the doctor,
John, yeah,
John. John. Um, is he their father?
no. So
Okay.
I was married, divorced when they were young, remarried John when they
How old
were,
were they? Like around that two,
uh,
3-year-old
I
age?
think 8 when we got 8 and 5, because I also have another little girl.
Okay. Oh,
Not a
so they
little
were around
girl
eight
anymore.
when you
Eight
got
and 5.
divorced.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And no, they were 7 and 4 when we got divorced, but 8 and 5 when I,
So, do
yeah.
you feel that the autism played part in, like, put the strain on the relationship? You think that led to the divorce, or no?
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
curious
no,
because it's an 80% divorce rate, they say.
yeah, but that was a good thing. Like, yeah, the autism put the strain on it, but it was
But it
also
was the
it
straw that broke the camel's
you
back for
yeah, like I
probably.
mean, my daughter just asked me this the other day. My 29-year-old, my youngest daughter, she's like, who were you before you married dad? And I said, "Ooh, I don't like myself that much." Like, I mean, I clearly was a vibrational match, which is why I married the man that I married. And autism had me grow up. Like autism made me mature. Autism taught me to be a better person. And he didn't come along on that journey.
Mhm.
And so all of a sudden, after a matter of years, I found myself that I had massively outgrown his capacity. And I was just beginning my journey to soar. And he was just going further down to a bad place.
Mhm.
So yeah, I contributed, but great.
Okay. Okay. I got it. I got it. Okay. And then you met John.
And then I met John, and we were together for 16 years.
Okay.
And absolutely lovely man, wonderful human being.
Mhm.
Um, Pretty much was my kids, father figure a lot as a stepfather, and had a lot of love for the kids. So
And
they
he
grew up with
was,
him.
I mean, that's a big commitment to
Yeah.
a woman with,
Oh,
three
yeah.
kids and two of them are on the
Yeah.
spectrum on top of it. So,
I know. I had a friend say to me, like, does he know you have 3 kids? And I'm like, yes, he knows that I have 3 kids.
yeah.
Uh, no, and we had a phenomenal relationship, absolutely deeply in love, very, very incredible. And but he was really slowing down, and he died when I had just turned 50 years old, and Mia, Joey's twin, had was living in Thailand on a Fulbright scholarship. Joey was part-time with his biological his father, and then Jessie had just turned, I think she was 19, and she was actually moving in with her boyfriend at that point. So I wasn't like it was an easier time. I had little kids at home anymore when he
Hmm.
passed.
Can I ask how he died?
Uh, I mean, we're not 100% sure, but it seemed like it was cancer that had overcome his body. He was not one to go to have any test, and being a doctor, I
He
didn't
didn't go to
question
the
it.
doctor.
No. But he was also, I actually just recorded a podcast about this whole subject recently. He also wanted, it was his time. Like he was tired. He had fought a lot in his life, and he was just tired of all the craziness. All his doctor friends are like, "Oh, John, you got out at a really good time. Like that was a great time to get out." And he was just tired of he was really, really, really slowing down. But I for all intent and purposes, and probably for his death certificate purposes and everything, it was cancer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Joey, he was not spelling yet, right? I'm
No. Oh,
assuming.
no. No.
So could you tell how it affected him at all?
No. I didn't. I mean, I didn't presume competence, so I didn't even talk to him about it practically.
Right.
And uh, it wasn't until recently I have a video on that about when we asked Joey about it, and
Hmm.
he basically, said he'll never forget and never stop loving him. He's gone but not forgotten is what Joey said.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So how did the spelling journey start? How did you find out about it?
So that began, well, backing up to when we had the practice, John's practice, I mean, we had clients that did it.
Mm.
But back in those days with Soma, you had to travel to where Soma was to take a very intensive course and be gone from the home for a long time. And between the three kids and John's practice that I also managed, like that wasn't really much of an option for me. And not to mention, I Joey's dysregulation was so bad. Like he would never attend to anything. So I thought, we've tried it. We've done the all the different AAC devices we've done, and he's not interested. I can't imagine this is going to work. I was happy for the people it was working for, but I was like, this is not for us. And so I had made a video on my social media page, Betsy on the Go, several years ago. And it was a video where somebody had asked me, how much do you think Joey understands? And just to
Wait,
sum it
hold on.
up,
What was the Betsy
yeah.
on the go?
Betsy on the Go is my social media page. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That is my um,
So you've had that for a long time then.
yeah, I've had it for 4 or 5, no, 6 years, 5 years. Yeah.
So what was
Yeah.
so it wasn't you didn't start it because of spelling then. So what
No,
did
no,
you
no,
start?
no.
You started it for what? For
No. Oh,
visual
so what was
nutrition?
it? So no, it was everything. It was just raising Joey because Joey's adorable.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
just it was just like my life with Joey. And I would throw some picky eating stuff in there occasionally or some life advice in there occasionally, which I kind of some of it I laugh at now because I'm like, oh, you sweet young girl, even though I was 50 some odd, but I was just
Yeah.
like, I feel like in the last 6 years of my life that I have like aged decades. So I look back at them now. This is why I'm always so gentle with everybody that I see on social media because I'm always just like, yeah, I believe that at one point too, or I did that at one point too. So it's like no hate. It's just we
Yeah.
learn. We get older, we learn, and we expand our knowledge.
Mhm.
So I had done a video where somebody was just like, hey, how much does Joey understand? I'm like, he doesn't understand much. I think he understands a few words here and there, that kind of thing. And a friend, John and I lectured a lot when he was alive, and we had lectured in Hawaii, and the woman who was in charge of the Hawaii Autism Foundation saw my post, and she sent me a private message. She's like, I used to think that about my son too. And then we were introduced to spelling, and it and she talked about this incredible what had happened for him. Once again, I'm like, good for some, probably not for Joey. But then Lori Hellman, who's a friend of mine, this Welcome to the Sky Life, like she was doing the spelling, and Skylar is more on the more like Joey, very much a gut kid, the whole thing. I'm like, oh, well, they're doing it. That's encouraging. And then I just like there was just kept coming up. And so I had reached out to S2C in Virginia, and they had told me that one of their very, very best practitioners was in Portland, which was 5 hours for me. So I started driving down to Portland. And I remember the very first session, actually the first couple of sessions, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like
How
this
long ago
is
was this?
so we were wearing masks. So I'm
Okay,
guessing
so
like
2021.
2021. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I just remember just thinking he doesn't know what the hell you people are reading him. He doesn't understand this lesson. Like
Hmm.
why do you think he gets this?
Hmm.
But my daughter, Joey's twin, lives in Portland.
Hmm.
So it was an excuse to go visit her. And
Okay.
I love that I had this like excuse to go visit her because especially during lockdown, I was missing like connection and stuff.
Yeah.
So we kept going, and I was seeing a few things that were interesting, but definitely not enough to keep me going. And I was really getting ready to give up when my practitioner, Meg, who's still my practitioner to this day, said, "Hey, my boyfriend's being transferred to Bellingham, which is where I live." And then I was like, okay, that's a sign from the universe. Let's do this once a week. Let's make this, let's see what happens from it. She moved up, took her a long time to get settled. So it was like another 6 months had gone by or something like that.
How often were you going? Like once a
And well,
month?
we weren't for a long time because she was doing the move and everything like that. So in other words, it's like when I tell people we've been doing this for like for like 4 years, it wasn't like 4 years solid. It was like once a month for a while. Then it didn't happen for like 6 months. So
Okay.
it was more like that. So then she came in and getting better and better and better. And then one day in session, he did his first open spelling. He answered a question in his own words. And I couldn't believe it. And then, it just got better and better every single week. I mean,
What
he
was
went,
it? What was it
yeah.
about? You don't have to tell me what he said if
Yeah,
it's
no, no,
private, but
no,
just what was
no,
it
it's
about?
not. It wasn't. It was his lesson was on deserts, and she showed a picture to him of the desert at night,
Hmm.
and so it was dark and it was covered in white. And she's like, "That's interesting because I don't know if it's snow because it's the desert, but do you think it's snow or do you think it's white sand?" And he spelled completely unprompted, it's salt because it was in fact salt hills. And we didn't know that. We were just like, oh my gosh, it is salt.
Yeah. And then are you
And
like, wait, how did you know
yeah,
that?
and that was where everything just kind of flips in your head. And people always say like that there's this kind of, I mean, I know with my girlfriend, she had this big screaming moment of just like, oh my gosh, she wanted to tell everybody. Um, I didn't. And I always say that because, when there's some things that we just can't compartmentalize in our brain. Like it's so foreign to us, we just don't even have a place to put it. And that's what I still say to this very day. I mean, now learning about telepathy and all these other things and the things that my son is spelling, like there's just so like I don't even know where to categorize a lot of it. And so it took me a long time to really grasp what was happening. And then eventually he just got better and better and better. And now he's writing poetry.
Hmm.
like, like the first day he just randomly said, "Hey, could I write a haiku?" I'm like, what is happening in my life? Like, how did I get here? And so now we find out he's very fascinated in poetry, and that's has been his
Does
big
he spell
go-to.
with you?
He does spell with me nowhere near as well as he does with his practitioner. But here's the thing. I believe the reason he doesn't spell as well with me is because we are too telepathically connected. And
Hmm.
it makes it very, very hard for me to know what are his thoughts and what are my thoughts and what am I thinking. And is he spelling what I'm thinking or is he spelling what he's thinking? And so I know I need to clear my head more, but it's very hard I hear this from a lot of mothers that it's really hard to spell with your own child because of the telepathic connection.
Hmm. Okay, well, good. You brought this up, not me.
Yeah,
So,
I'm happy to talk about telepathy.
does
But yeah.
so he's not telepathic with his practitioner?
Oh, probably is. I mean, probably. I
But
don't know
some
the
people
capacity of
are
it yet.
able to shut it down and kind of block it. You
Yeah,
know, they can
yeah,
shut.
and you can. I mean, the way Meg's been doing this for so many years, his practitioner, that she can totally quiet her mind and empty it and be there present for Joey of what he wants to do.
Right.
I Joey and I spell first thing in the morning and I'm like, did I pack enough food for his lunch? Did I have his water bottle? Is it filled? Does he need a jacket today? Like there's so much going on in my head that I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. And he does spell some great things for me sometimes, things that I would never have guessed. So I know that it's true. But it's very different. And yeah, I mean, with the telepathy tapes, I actually find it really interesting that people struggle with the telepathy piece. I mean, we all know as moms that we have some version of knowing what our children want. Like we all have that connection that is inherent in moms and dads. And I I think the word telepathy might bother some people. So from a scientific viewpoint, I just did a podcast with Becca Kramer. She's a phenomenal scientist, and she was saying that the scientific community is better accepting it being called non-local communication.
Mm.
So using the term non-local communication makes people feel a little bit calmer than
Hmm.
it is like a Ouija board type of experience.
Hmm.
And non-local communication is understood. It's just, it's one of these things that um, I think it's an incredible. I think the entire humankind is benefiting from the fact that we're talking about this now, that we're talking about non-local communication, and we're talking about, in my opinion, almost the evolution of the beauty of autism in the sense that it has pushed us into recognizing this non-local communication. I mean, I have plenty of things to be upset and regarding my son's body and challenges with that. But when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, we come to this in these bodies for purpose. And I get it. I get the whole purpose of it now. For years I didn't. For years it was anger and disgust and tragedy. And now it's like, oh, it's all making sense now. It's all starting to come together. And when it all said and done, whether it's your God, your universe, whomever it is to you, there is beautiful purpose in this journey. And yes, we have to witness unthinkable pain and unthinkable suffering, and it is hard. But that's how we evolve as humans, and that's how we make the world a better place, and that's how we expand who we are in consciousness. And this consciousness awakening is an exciting um, result of all that's happened in my last 30 years of this journey, of being on this journey.
When did you start noticing the telepathy?
Well, after the telepathy tapes came out, I think every mom of a speller started, testing it out.
That's only been the past year,
Yeah. So it was about, yeah, I
but
guess
he's
it's
been
been.
spelling for sort well,
So he's been open spelling for about a year and a half.
okay.
And then the telepathy tapes came out. I asked him a couple questions, and then
Mhm.
we did our tests where I thought of a number, wrote it down on a piece of paper, didn't tell him, and sure enough, he hit it perfectly.
Hmm.
And then just recently, I was watching a movie with headphones, and he came in and he was looking at the screen. And I said, "Are you listening through my ears?" And he said, "Yeah." He spelled yes. And
Uh-huh.
I said, "Okay, prove it. What are they talking about?" And he spelled Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
And it wasn't like they were in the hospital. It was just a discussion about Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay. So now we got that to deal with.
And he was able to spell
I mean,
Alzheimer's.
it's
That's
yeah.
good.
I mean, exactly. I mean, it's psi abilities. That's why that's the whole psychic abilities, the psi abilities, however you want to put it. It's telepathy is now a catchword for it, but it's all of it. I mean, it's he smells illness. We
Hmm.
found out recently he smells illness.
I've heard that before. I don't know if that
Yeah.
maybe I heard you say that or if it was somebody else, but
Yeah, but that's a part of it too. So, yeah.
hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
What else?
Um uh, I mean,
Does
I
he?
don't know as to the extent of where it goes because
Yeah.
he still fatigues very quickly spelling. He
Okay.
he loves it. He loves that he could do it, but he
Yeah.
still fatigues very easily. So I get like one earth-shattering question that I save up every week to ask him during his practitioner session.
Right.
And I get and some of it is functional questions like, how's your apartment situation? Can you handle this? Like in other words, I'm not asking him to give me the secrets of the universe at every single session. Sometimes
Right.
I just need to know if he needs a new coat. Like, like,
Hmm.
you have to do that part of it too. But yeah, so
Has he, a lot of the kids talk about seeing beings. They see angels, they see demons, they see departed loved ones. And has he ever talked about any of that kind of
He
stuff?
doesn't, and we've talked about that. And he has a his visions are very lovely. Yeah, yeah,
Like his visions?
his well, whatever he's experiencing. I mean, he feels the most connected to, like we asked, I can't remember his answers on this about God, but he had said he feels God in nature. Like that's where he sees so much beauty.
Mhm.
He doesn't he doesn't hold on that he's told us about yet, at least any sort of negativity or
Mhm.
anything like that at all.
Right.
Um, could is the influence he has in our household, because I do believe that a lot of what comes out is two things. Number one, what is the influence within the household? Do they talk about certain things that are super negative, that it becomes the vernacular and they're just giving words to it? um, for example, if you're talking about demons a lot in general, or you're talking about the devil or things that are really, really negative in the household, then one, when they're spelling, they can only give you a thought that you can comprehend. So they're very likely to spell in the language that you're most ready to hear it.
Right.
So, for example, a demon in Joey's world, what he has spelled has been his own internal demons, his own struggles, his own challenges, where that's what he has spelled to us.
Mhm.
But a demon to somebody else might be a separate entity, and that
Mhm.
might be what they spell to somebody because that's what they're able to understand. So
Mhm.
I think we have to put it into perspective of, there is no truth to any of anything in general just because they've spelled it, because it's only able to be received by the person that is actually getting the message. So I'm very loose in understanding what Joey says, and I don't put anything as gospel with it, because what is the interpretation, and how do I want to interpret that is more of what I'm thinking of. But in Joey's world, his God is nature. He finds that his angelic world is in the ground, in the trees, in the mountains, on the water, in the pebbles. That's his God.
Mhm.
And I love that for him.
Yeah. Well, I know he likes going out in the woods, right? He likes to go hiking?
Loves it. Absolutely loves it. Biking, just being outside. He just wants to be outside. Rain or shine,
Mhm.
winter, summer, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm very hardy.
I'm trying to think what other things that I've heard. Oh, well, I know like Houston talked about synesthesia.
Yeah.
Um,
And Joey has a little synesthesia too. He sees colors with certain things as
mhm.
well. So yeah,
Right.
I think we're in the tip of this iceberg. I just feel like it's really funny because people hear the telepathy tapes and they think, okay, well, that's the new box. It's like, no, this isn't a box either. This is an
Yeah.
uncovered cornucopia of discoveries that are just beginning to happen.
Yes, that's what I'm
And
hearing. There's a lot more other gifts and things that they have that just weren't the telepathy tapes is just the tip of the iceberg. We didn't even
right.
get,
Yeah.
a lot of them. That's why I'm very curious to know what else they're experiencing.
Yeah. That's
But I'm also curious, people that have different belief systems, what are they like? What are the kids experiencing? Like the kids that come from a home where the parents are in Christian ministry, those are the kids that are seeing angels and seeing Jesus and stuff. But if these kids are not brought up in that type of environment, what are they seeing and
yeah.
experiencing, right? Like how
It's
much of an
interesting, isn't
influence
it?
is it on the,
Yeah.
what their parents are saying, and
And it's really no different than language, speaking different languages. And that's what I feel about religion or spirituality in general, is that it's all a different language, and there's nobody's wrong for speaking a particular language. Like, can we just lovingly accept everybody's language and use it to our betterment as best we can without
like
it
I heard
having.
somebody say he sees spirit beings, but
Mhm.
doesn't call them angels. Right.
Right, exactly. Again, the vernacular doesn't matter,
Hmm.
and especially for these sweet individuals, language has become almost, I don't know. I mean, obviously they have this language, but it's almost etheric in that they like I every now and then I'll be spelling with Joey, and he just gives me this look, and I immediately telepathically pick it up, and the look is, can't we just do this through our
Yes. I
minds?
was
Like,
just gonna
do I really have to?
I was just gonna say that some kids are like, this is just such a tedious task having to spell.
I know.
Can't we just talk to each other in our minds? Like, why do I have to go through all of this?
I know.
Have a
I
conversation
know.
with you.
Exactly.
Does he go
Yeah.
to the hill? Does he ever mention
He
that?
does. He does. He does. And he goes, yeah, absolutely he does. He's Mr. Laughter at nighttime as he goes.
Oh,
He's
that's
very,
funny.
just loves
So he
it
goes at night, like, is
at
it a three in
nighttime.
the morning thing or?
No, it's about a 7 to 8 p.m., depending on the time of the year and dark. It's
Does
got to
he?
be dark. He likes it dark.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, does he have to go to his room? Like, because John Paul used to put a pillow over his
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. I know. I love it. Joey was just in John Paul's room recently. We were visiting Libby.
Yeah.
John
Oh,
Paul's room.
yes. Yes,
John
I saw
Paul's
the
room
picture.
still has such beautiful energy. So
Yes.
great.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I saw those pictures and I knew half the people there, and I was like, "Hey, I want to go. Like, I've been wanting
Oh,
to go to
there'll be
Georgia."
some good
And then I saw
opportunities.
you and Sarah Intonato there, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, those are two that I don't know yet." I'm like, I
Ah,
have to meet them, so that's why they're here. You are
here
here.
I
You are.
am.
So I'm like, all right, this is a club I want to be part of.
It's a pretty fun club.
I
It's a
know.
pretty awesome club. And it's so great because we just talked about like all the different languages. A lot of us have very, very different like religious backgrounds and belief systems and everything. And we get along so tremendously well because everybody is so respectful of, hey, you believe what you need to believe. I'm just here for the fun of it, and I'm just going to look for the commonalities instead of look for our differences.
Right, right. That's good. You said something about an apartment. Does he live in an apartment?
He does. He has an apartment that he lives with a full-time caregiver,
Okay.
and he lives there a good portion of the time, but he's with us a lot too. He goes back and forth, and we have this great combined care that we are able to give him. And I still cook a lot for him, and I'll bring things over. But now I'm teaching his caregiver to cook more now, so that's been really fun
Yeah,
because
that's good.
he's getting better and better, and I don't have to make everything from scratch anymore.
So let's help other parents with this. So how was that done? Do you have to pay the rent? Is that done through like his money from the
That's
state or the
that's
government
a
or what?
whole other show.
Okay. Okay.
That is a I'll sum it up. Section 8 housing,
Yep.
uh, caregiver hired by the state
Mm.
through the caregiver program through the DDA. Caregivers hired through the state, so he's paid through the state. We
And
have
you're in where? Washington State?
Washington State,
Okay.
and then yeah, and then his Social Security helps pay for a portion of his rent and his living expenses, and then we, of course, pad it as best we can. Um, Pad things in general, so that he has really good food and access to lots of fun activities. But we really work the system pretty well and really, really blessed with it. And we give his caregiver lots of time off and because we love to take Joey places. So it's not like, it's such a burden all the time. It's hard. It's hard. He's still a lot of work. I would say that if he was sitting right here next to me, he's probably telepathically picking up on it anyway. But I would say that to him in front of him. I mean, I'm not saying this
Mhm.
behind. He knows. I say to him, I go, dude, like I love taking care of you, but I don't want to take care of anybody but myself today. So I need a break. And I
Mhm.
or I have a lot of paperwork to do. So you
Mhm.
can sit here and do absolutely nothing all day, or you could go with your caregiver because he loves to be with me. We're
Mhm.
so close and really have an incredible relationship.
Mhm. So what do you do now? Is Autism Odyssey, is that you?
Autism Odyssey is me. Yes.
Okay. And tell me what that is.
So Autism Odyssey is a 501(c)(3), and originally I started for the Be Kind vest that Joey wears. He wears an
Okay.
autistic Be Kind vest. Specifically, it was meant to help us for cycling because drivers were so mean to him, and other uh, the cyclists were really mean to him. But it can be helpful for lots of different things, especially
Mhm.
when we travel or on the airplane and things like that. So I started the nonprofit for that, but now the nonprofit is going in an additional direction as we are putting together the Presume Comp Fest, which will be happening next year, and Autism Odyssey will be the umbrella nonprofit taking care of that as well too.
Okay. But what about the nutrition and all of that?
That's another business of mine. It's Picky Eating Solutions, and I run that through a business that I have, another LLC that I have with my current partner. We're going to be married next year. It just seems weird calling him a fiance when we've been together for 9 years.
Yeah.
So I just call him my partner. But I have a business through that, and I do pick. I have an online course. It's on my website, betsyonthego.com.
Okay.
And my Picky Eating Solution course is there, as well as the link to Autism Odyssey, as well as the link for the podcast that I have as well too. I have it all kind of like in one little area.
So, okay, so the main area is what? Betsy on the go?
Betsy on the Go. Yeah. If you
Okay.
go to Betsy on the Go, you can access just about anything from there.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I'm really into the whole healthy eating and everything
yeah, it's a fun
nowadays, and I
journey.
really want to help parents with this because I feel that they're lazy about it. It's like it's just easier.
It's
I don't have
overwhelming.
time.
I try never, I always look at somebody that's starting out in this journey is it's not so much a laziness, it's a priority. None of us parents are lazy. None of us
Mhm.
who have a child with autism are really lazy about anything because we're just trying to cope. But it's about priorities. In my opinion, everything in your autism world will get better if you focus on nutrition first.
Mhm.
So, but
Mhm. Okay, so they can just go to
yeah,
betsyonthego.com and they can find you, reach
yeah,
you there, right?
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
awesome. All right, Betsy, thank you so much for being here today. I
Absolutely. Thanks
appreciate
for
it
having me
very
on.
much. All right, I'll talk to you soon. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed listening and it helped you gain a new perspective. To learn more about our children's book series, Robbie's World and His Spectrum of Adventures, or to learn more about what we do at Robbie's World Foundation, simply visit our website at robbiesworldbook.com.
Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to join us again on our next episode of Spectrum Perspectives.